Hey everybody, I'm Asian Funk. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm joined by a super awesome guest. She's an actress, model, and artist. I think that's what they call in the entertainment industry a triple threat, right? Or is that with dancing, singing, and acting? But anyway, her name is Tova Umatuka. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Mark.
I think you are my first on-screen actor that I've interviewed. I've interviewed voice actors, but never like someone who is like in front of the camera. So I'm very excited. But anyway, we were talking earlier about your name, Tova. Do you want to kind of just give a little background on that really quick for those of us who aren't familiar with Tova?
Sure. So my first name, Tova, is Hebrew, and it's my real name, and it means good. And it's a very simple name, and I found that a lot of people don't recognize it as Jewish. They don't realize that it's such a common name in sort of Orthodox Judaism, because not a lot of people who are like super deep in Orthodox Judaism are out in the world and on TV. And I wanted to have a stage name for the fun of it and just to play around and be someone else. But I didn't want to get rid of a Jewish name, a Jewish sounding name. I didn't want the people to see that I changed my name from Weinberger to like Clark. I don't know. I don't know names.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, yeah. You still wanted to keep it on brand, I guess you could say.
Well, I didn't want to imply that I was ashamed of my Jewishness.
Correct. Yeah. Yes.
Because Natalie Portman, she changed her last name from like Hirschman or something to fit in more, or whatever her reasons were. But I see it a lot in Hollywood where people like have a more Jewish last name and they change it to be less Jewish sounding.
Yeah.
So instead of just getting rid of my name and choosing something more mainstream or white, I chose an even more niche Jewish in-joke.
You went the other direction. You were like, let's turn it up.
Yeah, absolutely. So Umatuka means and sweet. So my name together is good and sweet. And it is what you wish each other on the Jewish New Year. So last year I was working at Comic-Con. I was doing the Bandai Namco booth.
What? I did not know that. I'm going to stop you right there. That's amazing. Wait, which Comic-Con? San Diego?
New York.
New York. I have never been to it. It's on my bucket list.
7 p.m. Coming to you from New York.
That's right. Okay. I was like, 7? No, it's not. Yeah, you're right. It is. Sorry, continue.
No, it's completely fine. I was working near Comic-Con, and I had some time on the last day to go to the artist gallery, and I found Erica Henderson, who is the artist of my favorite comic series of all time.
Sorry, what's her name again?
Erica Henderson.
Just one more time.
Erica Henderson.
And she is who?
Should I say the whole sentence?
I'm just kidding. The reason why I asked you to repeat it is because I've been trying to get her to interview with me. And so if I can get more people saying that they are fans of hers, maybe that'll encourage her to jump on the show. So I'm very glad that you are a fan of hers. So sorry.
I'm such a big fan of her. So I met her at Comic-Con, and I wanted to cosplay Squirrel Girl. I wanted to dress up as Squirrel Girl for Purim, which is the Jewish dress-up holiday.
Wait, there's a dress-up holiday?
Yeah.
What? I'm learning so much.
I actually didn't grow up with Halloween. I never did it, ever. They gave us extra homework on Halloween to make sure we wouldn't do the pagan rituals.
That's tricky, but I like it.
But we have Purim, which is it's around March. It shifts because of the lunar calendar, and I wanted to dress up as Squirrel Girl, and I asked her. I was like, "What exactly is her costume? I want to know everything." And the biggest sort of dish she gave me was that her leotard is. She said she liked to imagine that Doreen just found like a 1940s swimsuit in the attic.
Wow, that's very descriptive.
So like the actual shape of the halter and like the cut of it was inspired by the 1940s
Oh,
swimsuit
yeah,
cuts.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. Now I'm then looking at it, I'm like, yeah, you're right. It does have like the ruffles a little bit, and then like even the stitching,
Yeah,
kind
I mean,
of.
there's no stitching, I think, in the drawings of it, but
Yes.
as far as like the way the shape of like the leg holes are and like the cut over here,
Yeah.
it's very Marilyn Monroe.
Interesting. Huh. Okay.
Yeah. So I went on eBay and I got myself an authentic 1940s swimsuit. So it's actually the vintage swimsuit right there. And
That's
piece by piece, I put together the costume between it was October and March, so that I could do it
yeah, yeah.
Purim. And the tail is actually my teddy bear.
I was gonna ask what did you make the tail out of? It's amazing. I never would have guessed it was a bear.
I use a
That's
stuffed animal
incredible.
in everything I do.
That's
The
incredible.
head
Yeah.
of the sock monster is also a teddy bear. But so I like bound his arms and like pinned his ears down, and the muzzle is stuck into the belt. So this poor bear is
Oh,
just.
that's hilarious.
I can unpin him and he's fine. I didn't want it
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
sew it,
That's so funny. I
and
mean,
his arms are above his head like this. If you look closely, or those are
oh
his
my,
legs actually.
oh my gosh, that's so funny. Huh. Okay. Okay. I like that. It's
Thank
very
you.
clever.
So I put it together and I bought these pouches on
Yeah.
like Wish or something, and I put it together piece by piece. And then March came, and it was Purim, and then it was the pandemic, and I could barely show anyone.
Oh, you're like, oh, sorry, can't
So
bust it out.
so instead, what I did was I filmed a full music video in my backyard. She works she works through things, so they don't need to give her like a traumatic backstory. They don't need to give her anything um, to make her interesting other than just let her be her sparkling personality. And you don't see that a lot in comics. They always have to ruin good relationships and
Mm.
hurt people and take away people's loved ones. And Ryan North, who writes Squirrel Girl,
Yep.
is so funny, so hysterical. Even his new book, his comic book version of Slaughterhouse-Five is funny. So it's just a joy to read. And so being no matter where I am, sort of mentally and emotionally, dressing up as Squirrel Girl is like I'm unbeatable.
Do you want to talk about your demo reel really quick and just kind of how you chose what to show and which characters you felt you be suited for the best to display in your demo reel?
Sure. Yeah. Um, I put Squirrel Girl first because at the time it had been the most recent thing I had done, and I'm also singing in the video, and so I wanted to show
Yeah.
people that. And I actually sent that at some point to like a casting director, and I actually got an audition based off this. So I found that like when people can bond with you over something
Yep.
like Squirrel Girl, it's already you're connecting on a level of coming from a place of love and
Hmm.
coming from a place of like um,
Yeah.
shared interest in something that's a
Right.
um, positive thing. So that's first, and then I wanted to show I wanted to show comedic things that I had done and different characters, and
Yeah.
I threw in some commercials I had been in. Uh, and
Are
the
some of
truth,
these real? Are some of these real commercials?
oh, they were all real. Yeah,
Oh, wow. Okay. That's crazy. That's awesome.
yeah.
Usually, yeah, okay. That's great. That's impressive.
I just did for Halloween. I did a series of it's like a with the Sour Pickles TV on YouTube. I did where it's like a bunch of short Halloween sketches, and we did it just now during COVID. And I
Hmm.
have a different wig in every single sketch, and sometimes I'm multiple characters. And I think that from now on, that's just going to be my reel. But until then, I'm gonna use the like when I had pink hair that was 2 years ago. I'm gonna use all the commercials and every little thing. Final Showdown was a NYU Tisch project. It's the only one that's not an actual
Mm,
paid production.
I see. Okay. I guess what advice would you give somebody who was trying to get like for to aspiring like actors and actresses, like what advice would you give them?
I think the biggest advice that I would give is you can't really have a backup plan. So as many sort of jobs as I have and other things that I do, you have to be um, the thing that you define yourself as has to be the acting one. You know, you can't be like, I'm trying to do this, but I have other avenues. Um, you have to be, I'm an actor. I'm going to do this until like I drop dead. And the second piece of advice that I would give is make your own work, but also make friends. And I'm not saying like networking um, for the sake of using their connections and making things because you want to be in things and it's eventually self-serving. I'm talking about it's a hard business and you need people who are there with you, who you like, who you can
Mm,
relate to, who you can just kind of help each other because you're going to need it. You're going to need support. Even if you
mm,
start and you're like, oh, I'm doing amazing. I don't need other people to know what I'm going through.
yeah.
And if you make things together and you make art together, um, that is like a super incredible experience to be able to do. And you want to have people that you like that you're doing that with.
Mm,
So you can audition for things and like audition for the Netflix movie and the Hulu show and all of that, and that's all incredibly important. But in the meantime, have people in the same field as you that you can be like, let's make a short film now and let's work together and talk about our interests and keep everything alive in the times that you are not actively on like a big budget show or
hmm. Yeah. What's the worst advice you've ever received in
um,
terms of acting?
somebody told me that because I look so young, I should take my college degree off my resume
Wait, why?
because he wanted. It was like a potential agent, and I didn't sign with him. I'm currently with ATB, and his advice had been, you could play teenagers, so you don't want them to think you are so far out of teenager
Oh,
age.
I see. Got it.
And there I am, like 21, and like you think people won't want a college educated person if they look at me and like this is how they're casting. It's like, yeah, if they think you're too old, they'll psych themselves out from casting you.
Mm,
And what I had was my theater degree and all of the extra courses I took to further my craft and like every method that I had studied, like Stanislavski and Suzuki and whatever. And he's like,
yeah.
take all that off. They don't care.
Hmm. That's interesting.
I don't. I've heard conflicting advice since then where they're like, no, people want to know that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They want to know you're serious, that this is something that you're devoting your life to, and that you're not just a pretty young girl who hasn't got a college who thinks that they can um, make it big. Yeah, it's good that people know that this is something you're actually studying and care about.
Where can people follow your work?
So I'm SupernovaTova on Instagram. I haven't been posting there as much, but whenever I'm uh, involved in things, that's where I'm going to be putting a lot of my updates, as well as
Hmm.
on Twitter, which is Tova Umatuka. And the only reason I'm not SupernovaTova there is because someone else has it and doesn't use it.
Oh, that's
But on
annoying.
TikTok, I'm SupernovaTova.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. It was really cool to kind of hear your experience as an actress and you kind of getting into cosplay because the community is so welcoming and just hearing more about your interests and hobbies. I hope to have you back on again soon.
Sounds great. It's been lovely chatting with you.